Okay, the channel is live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Adventure on so many levels. We're going to play Masks, a New Generation.
Woo!
Hey, Zoom.
For some reason, I keep calling it Masks, the New Generation until I have it right in front of me looking at it when I say it. I'm Christiana Ellis, and I'm the Game Master. Our players tonight, Nobilis as Flair,
Whoosh.
Dove Archambault as Curie,
Oh, what's gonna come at us this time?
Lee Burdett as Mayhem,
I'm just here for the fun.
Paul Weimer as Antares,
By rainiest day and chilliest night, the Harbor kids are here for the fight.
and Jason Banks as Vanguard.
in this in this instance, the cake is not a lie.
Well played.
Oh, wow.
We are missing Millie, sadly, for this evening, but we will soldier on. When last we left our heroes, they had gotten through a little bit of a bumpy introduction period with Vanguard returning to the headquarters and discovering that you have Ilanil as a new guest who has traveled from another dimension because her dad is an interplanar galactic tyrant type, and she wanted some help defeating him. But the last time he showed up in Halcyon City was bad time, so everyone's a little unsure. You like her, though. She seems okay. Everyone made plans for various family dinners and also a prank wherein you're going to test Vanguard's grandfather's reaction to Ilanil via novelty
Popping out of a
Cake.
cake.
Yeah, novelty cake. But in all of these dinners were interrupted by a bit of a battle with a team of supervillains named the Zoo Crew, who normally are not much of a threat at all, but this time seems to have some mysterious amulets that were empowering them. And you defeated them, but let them free in exchange for them telling you a little bit about where they got these amulets. And mostly what you know is that it's a big guy in a trench coat, and that these amulets seem to have combined magic from Ilanil's dimension with technology from your own. Ooh. I think as you perhaps all regroup heading back to your headquarters, Ilanil starts acting a little bit exhausted, and she says, I think I may have overdone it a little with the portal and then the fighting here. I think I need to lie down. And as she, where do you show her to as far as a place to lie down?
Um,
Because medbay's not really comfy.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think we have guest rooms. I think
we have
that's
a spare
Didn't
bunk.
we establish that that's what we've got in the shell of
Yeah,
the
the super
spaceship?
vehicle.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
some of you regularly stay there. It's a different
Yeah.
idea whether you have, already made up rooms that are ready for someone else, or whether someone is volunteering to give her the one that they might otherwise use.
Yeah, they can stay in mine because if I need to, I can stay with Grandpa. Although after tonight, maybe not.
Well, y'all tell me.
I'm not there, but I'm only there on weekends, so I have an easy usable bed right there. That
All right. So I think
yeah.
use that.
you show Ilanil to Antares' bed, and I think as soon as her head hits the pillow, she is out, and she looks like she might be sleeping for a little while.
Yeah, Dev is gonna, check, check her pulse,
Curie?
make sure.
Curie.
Yeah. Curie is going to check Elanol's pulse and make sure,
Mhm.
she's at least somewhat near the baseline that I got before.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think that it is similar to what you had before, which is I think very like slow um, compared to human standard. But
I think she's okay. Yeah. Hopefully Russ will get her in better shape.
She'll be fine.
Yeah.
I don't know how I know this, but she'll be fine. This kind of thing happens.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I imagine I imagine your people have an odd view on death or potential of death.
Well, I mean, until my predecessor did it, we didn't think, I mean, that was unprecedented.
You didn't think you could die.
Well, I mean, nothing is forever, right?
Yeah.
Eventually, the sun is going to explode.
Yeah.
Well, turn into a red giant and throw off its outer layers, and it's going to become a
Poof.
completely different environment. So, we're not going to survive that probably. Well, I don't know. See, my memories only go back a few tens of thousands of years. And as far as the lifetime as the sun is concerned, that's just a blink of an eye. So, um,
Well, maybe I should look up how. Wait, what are your people called?
what are they?
Like
Well, I mean, here on Earth, they're called the sun dwellers.
sun dwellers. Do you guys have a name for yourselves? I
Yeah, it's a modulated radio signal that works across several different bands. And I mean, I could probably use my equipment to translate it into audio, but it would just sound well. Okay, here, and Flair fiddles with his wristband a little, and a horrible screech comes out that just
Oh.
that grates on the nerves, and uh, it's like nails on blackboards combined with police sirens and pink noise and gravel falling down a cliff all at the same time. And it's like, okay, well, that's what we call ourselves, sort of, because it's in sound instead of radio waves.
I
Um,
think I think sun dwellers just it's
yeah.
just fine.
Now, when I was created, or when I was like separated off, there was a designation that they had for me as an individual. And that's a lot simpler because it's not like the entire people, it's just me.
Hmm.
And I could, I mean, okay. And he fiddles with his things a little bit more, and
You
a, a sound comes out that sounds a little like sun.
Mhm.
huh. That your name is much more pleasant than your people's name when
Well, I mean,
translated
well,
to
it's a
audio.
lot. There's a lot less in it.
Yeah.
There's a lot less.
Huh.
Yeah. I mean, individuality simplifies some things.
Yeah. Yeah. So, huh. If you ever, hmm, you, I, huh. Some individuals are are a lot more complicated than you think. Some
I mean,
individuals aren't
sure.
necessarily individuals
From
on the
from from
inside.
from the point of view of someone who's always been an individual, yeah.
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 Yeah. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, I think I'm going to stay here tonight to make sure to make sure Alana's okay. But
Eh.
I,
I mean, we still have, okay, you know what? Yes. Yes. You should stay here tonight. Absolutely.
Oh my God. Oh no.
Wait,
Oh no.
what do you have planned?
Uh,
I don't know you well, Flair, but I know when you're planning something.
And Flair, being completely like oblivious, just kind of looks over at Mayhem.
It's
Just
chill.
like
It's chill. Don't worry about it.
everything's
It'll
be
be
great.
fine.
This is an intelligence gathering mission. Think of it like, going on patrol.
Uh, are you okay? As a player, I am confused. I'm not entirely sure what you're talking about. Is
I-
this something I should?
I think
as a
that they
player,
are
be aware of?
preparing to implement the cake plan.
Oh, okay.
And
That's
having you stay
okay.
here with Ilanil, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but above
Yeah.
the table, I believe that's what's
Okay.
happening here.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So curious, just like okay, as long as it doesn't, you know, cause any harm to those who don't deserve it, that's fine.
Okay.
Come on.
So I think it's getting late at this point.
Mhm.
Okay.
So what is the plan here?
Well, I mean, Flair just assumes that we can just go over and start
Yeah.
working on that cake. If it's too late for that, somebody's gonna have to tell him.
Yeah, and I think Mayhem will tell her it's like bakers rise early, they don't stay up late.
Oh,
So
okay.
talking
All right.
talking to our contact is we're gonna need to get some sleep.
Okay.
Oh, that's what you're talking about. Okay, well,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Bakers rise early. Ha! That's funny.
Yes, and
Well,
it's also literally correct.
well played, Mayhem.
Yeah, they definitely rise early. Whew.
So is everyone just turning in, or what's going on here?
Kiri's gonna make call to her dad, tell him that she's staying at HQ. Just but
So we definitely don't like if we imagine the comic book here, right? Like we don't have to role play every single moment, right? We can
Right.
if
Right.
if
Right, we
everyone's
can- we
turning
can-
in, we don't have to say,
Yep.
okay,
Yeah, we can
no,
skip ahead.
do you
yeah.
who brushes their teeth before bed, right? Like, so I'm just saying, like, I don't want to move us forward if folks had stuff they wanted to talk about, but you guys kind of let the conversation trail off a couple of times there. All
Yeah.
right. So, if there is anything else that anyone wanted to do, does everybody stay at the headquarters tonight?
No, I'm still staying at home
Okay,
for the night. But
Alright,
I'm
well-
easily findable with the communication,
sure.
and I'm not too far away physically anyway. So,
All right. Okay.
and besides, someone's been sleeping in my bed.
It's true.
Yeah. I think Mayhem does stay.
Okay.
I think primarily Mayhem usually does stay. Just kind of like as a matter of course, but
Sure. Does the team have an answering machine or anything like that? Do you all have your own normal cell phones and stuff?
I think Kiri has a regular cell phone that she would use.
Like how do you talk to the normies?
Yeah, she'd have a cell phone. Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, mostly
Flair hasn't gotten a cell phone yet. But Flair's been just like, using the.
I'm
the-
afraid what Flair would do with a cell phone and retrofitting it to alien technology.
just.
I mean, Flair kind of worries that doing that might allow his mom to call him. So
Nah, that'd be funny.
The bigger
how does it how does that conversation go? Dear, are you wearing fresh underwear?
I was asking this
Listen.
principally because I wanted to know Mayhem's answer.
Mayhem doesn't.
So how do people reach you? Do you just, for example, your boss wants to know why you didn't come back to work
Um,
because you just
I
got talked
think-
into staying for dinner, and then you got into a fight, and then you basically just didn't ever come back.
right. I think that because this is a older hideout, that it actually still has a functioning landline,
Okay,
and that's what she uses
Okay.
to call in and get yelled at.
Yeah.
so is there an answering machine? Like, would they have that number, or like,
Yeah, they'd have to have that number
okay,
Yeah.
for employment
Yeah.
purposes.
It's a 1978 Princess phone.
okay, but do you have an answering machine? I
Yes,
asked for
I
the
think-
fourth time. Okay,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
all right.
It's
So-
newfangled. It's digital.
Yeah.
Doesn't even have
So
dates.
I think by the time things are settling down and you check the messages, there is one for Mayhem, and it is your boss basically saying, "This is weird, leaving a message for team here, but I'm calling for Mayhem. This is Austin Gallant. Mayhem, you didn't come back. We had to finish a shift without you, and you know Artie's back's been bothering him. We make a lot of allowances because we understand that you've got, hero business going on too, but I would appreciate a little more communication in the future. Are you coming in tomorrow? Yeah, help me out here." And I think he hangs up. And I think this is even over the message. This is an attempt to change your
Yeah.
labels. I think
I think Mayhem feels bad enough that she's not gonna fight it
okay.
because she did promise to come back.
Yeah, I think that this is going to lower your freak and raise your mundane.
Okay.
Do you call back?
Uh,
Or is it might be late now, so I don't know
Yeah.
if you do. You tell me. Let's say it's 10:30 p.m.
10:30 p.m. I think they have like a phone service just in case of late night calls. So I will give the phone service a call and leave a message
All right.
and say, "Yeah, I hear you. I'm sorry about what happened today. I will make every effort not to do that again. And I will see you tomorrow." And then she just kind of flops. Flops over in bed.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, if no one else has business before bed, I think we can. Cut to a new panel showing like the sun rising, and I think we have a brief panel, and this is a dramatic irony panel, because none of our characters are present in it, but there is. A little bit of a panel that shows a couple of people, a man and a woman in like strange sort of like beachwear, or like, one guy is the guy isn't wearing like a Hawaiian shirt and flip flops, and the woman has a sun hat and kind of like a mini skirt and sandals, and they're kind of like walking down the street, sort of hands outstretched a little bit like zombies. But then we cut over with a new panel over at the headquarters, and it's morning.
Yeah.
And Ilanil seems like she is still out for the count.
I believe that when time passes, something special happens. Is it
The team pool.
Team
The
pool.
team pool resets to 1.
Yeah.
There's also uh, the savior move for Vanguard. I think there are some other things that could theoretically happen when time passes, but the other element is when we say time passes doesn't always need to just mean every night, right? But there was a superhero fight that happened, so I think it's reasonable in this case. Do you want to roll plus savior for your legacy move there, Vanguard?
Nice.
All right,
Nice.
full
Full hit.
hit. Okay, that's great. So let's see. When you make that move on a hit, one of your legacy members offers you meaningful encouragement, an opportunity, or an advantage. I think what I'll say for this case is, let's see. I think so. Would you, Vanguard, if you were gonna get a call from someone in the Mystic Marksman, would it be patched through to your little ring communicator? Would it come through some other way?
Yeah, it would come through the ring communicator if it was, superhero business, which it would be from the marksman, unless Grandpa was yelling at me for something else.
Okay.
But, which does happen.
So, like
But yeah,
through the ring, though.
communicator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that you get a little bit of a ping that you would recognize as coming from Mystic Marksman headquarters.
As he's laying on the bed, he doesn't use that often because he's at the marksman a lot. He sighs and hits the button. Vanguard here.
Vanguard, this is your grandfather.
Oh, what's up?
I saw the reports on that strange encounter with the zoo crew last night. I just wanted to say I saw the way you helped get people out of the dangerous situation while you and you were able to maintain focus on the right things there. I think that we need to talk a little bit about where those amulets came from. There's an energy signature on them that I think has something to do with the portal that opened up out in downtown. So if you can come to the headquarters when you have a moment, I think we can discuss some next steps about that.
Yeah, I was actually planning to. In fact, we kind of noticed that because the zoo crew was a little tougher than normal. So myself, Flair, and a few others will be over tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
We got to make a stop early on, but then after that, we'll come over in the afternoon.
Sure. And I think that he has influence over you and he's encouraging you with the savior. So I think he's going to try to raise your savior and let's see. And lower your mundane.
He would let it happen. Because
Okay.
to be fair, it's not very often his grandfather actually says something
Yeah.
nice.
So go ahead and increase your savior by 1 and lower your mundane by 1. All right. So you now have an invite specifically to talk about stuff related to the portal.
Yeah.
There's no way this will go wrong.
Oh boy.
I'll make sure it goes very well.
And it's as he shuts down the communicator, you see Vanguard laid back, hands behind his head, and he just kind of smiles.
Aw.
Good news?
Yeah. But we've got to go. Gramps told me that they had picked up on an energy signature from those amulets, and so they kind of want to pass some notes around. So you guys can come with me to meet the marksman tomorrow and deliver the cake.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah. you know, honestly, the description Lemur guy gave us sounds like Colonel Karzan, uh, and you know, you remember that odd communicator we found from uh with Cleo Slamtra,
Smactra.
or
Smectra.
Cleo
Clear
Smactra?
smack track.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Alana was able to identify the language on it, and apparently it has something to do with allowing her to allowing uh communication between the dimensions. So I imagine Dr. Apogee is responsible for the hybrid nature of the technology.
Not a fan of that.
Yeah, I don't blame him. That
And if that's the case, that could mean that we will see more people besides the zoo crew running around with those things.
yeah.
I mean, it's the classic trope, right? You use people on this side to soften it up for round two, and
Uh,
it also saves wear and tear on your own troops.
have to see if there might be something when Alana wakes up, see if something she can teach us to help guard against that.
She's still zonked out in my bed, isn't she?
Yeah.
But I guess opening up portals between dimensions, I guess is unless you have a nuclear reactor inside of you, glance at Flair. I guess that takes a lot of energy.
But
Yeah.
you know, with Flair's ability to shape change, if she's still asleep tomorrow, then you could just have another part of you pop out of the cake.
The plan was always for me to pop out of the cake.
Yeah.
That was- that's what we're gonna do.
You know, Flair, here's a question. It's might be a little personal, but can you independently control all of your limbs? Like your physiology?
You can't.
No. Like if you're the cake, but how can you also pop out of it?
No, I'm not gonna be the cake. I'm gonna be in the cake.
Okay.
That's why we need a cake baked.
The,
Yes.
yes, I believe Flare has to remain as one unit. Like-
Yes. Well, I mean,
From what it sounds like,
Hmm.
you
I've never
not be able to
tried
have a
becoming more
dynamic-
than one person before. I mean, I don't know of any reason I couldn't.
Do any of your people have multiple heads?
Multiple heads? They don't have heads at all.
Oh, well.
They're coherent balls of gas,
or
ionized
whatever.
gas,
Yeah.
and radiation circuits and loops of magnetism, all kind of interacting together.
Oh, well, if you made this form, I don't see why you couldn't make another one.
I mean, my creation was kind of complicated. Okay, so you guys have explained how you humans do it, and I understand that on an intellectual level. I haven't actually witnessed it, but okay. I 30,000 years of human history knowledge, that's all covered. When they want to make one of me, there's this they kind of coalesce at a place where there's going to be a big solar flare, hence my name. And they shape it and they add extra magnetic fields to it and they charge it with energy from their own consciousness, and it flies off into the solar system. This big ball of magnetism and gas and radiation, and it flies out to a metallic asteroid and interacts with it. Okay, blows it up. But that's a kind of interaction.
Column A,
And
column B.
then
That is
and that's what forms these bands that allow me to exist in a normal material way.
No bird to beats required.
No,
Well,
I
the
mean, a bee would last about 14 nanoseconds on it on the sun.
the sunspots and the asteroids.
Yeah, with us, it's the sunspot, the solar flares in the asteroids. Sunspots are another thing.
Mm,
Sunspots are a cool place.
I don't understand the sun that well, so
I would say I'd love to visit your home, but I don't think I would enjoy it. You
I mean, with your sensory apparatus, there wouldn't be a lot to experience because it would just be so overwhelming, right? You couldn't see anything because you'd be blinded. You couldn't feel anything because you'd be. I mean,
I think even with your people's technology, I don't think I could have a you know have a similar sensory experience for us that you have with each other.
it's. I mean,
Hmm.
the first of my kind to come to Earth was such a very long time ago that those memories are a little hard to access.
How long ago was
But-
it?
Round about the time we realized that you were sentient creatures. So before Homo sapiens, really. And it's like, wait a minute, something's going on over there. And, sent one of us down this way to have a look around. And didn't know much about you, didn't know how to talk to you, didn't know how to interact or anything, just kind of looked like a ball of fire floating around. But, watched things, looked, learned over time, figured out what it took.
Oh,
Are your people the historical basis for angels?
or supernatural beings? That's what I was thinking. The same thing, Carrie.
I mean, I mean, okay. What is, when you come right down to it, the difference between a superhero and a god?
To a normal person, probably not.
I have
That's
no
about
idea.
the definition of God. Um,
Yeah.
From like a mythological point of view.
I
I
I
mean,
mean,
yeah, angels, demons, gods, monsters. We've been all those things.
Yeah.
I mean, if Hercules showed up and started tearing up the city, that would be like a supervillain, really.
Yeah.
Mhm.
True.
I'll remind everyone that just for context, in the world setting that we've got here, like there are definitely aliens. There have been invasions from other dimensions. There's
Yeah.
superheroes
Yeah.
around. Like
Yeah, but we've got theological here.
well, I'm just saying that
Yeah.
there could be lots and lots of
Lots of-
different sources for powered or
Yeah.
otherwise
True.
supernatural.
But there's only,
Yeah.
okay, so, but here's the thing, right? There's only ever one of us here.
Ah. Huh.
Oh, okay. So that makes simplifying. You're not the
Okay.
exclusive source of
No,
Any
no, couldn't be. I
mythological-
mean, look at history. Yeah, we don't play those kinds of games.
no, but others
That's
do.
actually good to know. Good to know that if we ever see someone else that looks like you and you're here, we know where you are. Then
Unless I figure out how to make a double of myself.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Look on your face says you're going to try.
I mean,
Wouldn't you?
I honestly can't blame you. I've had days when I wish I could, I wish I could have a separate one of myself and just, yeah.
There's a bad 80s movies about that, Carrie. My mom made me watch it once. It didn't go well.
Hmm.
You know, now
Well,
that I think
We'll have to watch it sometime.
anyways,
Anyway,
Yes,
so-
yes.
Anyway,
Probably should get
so
going.
we need to talk. We need to talk to people about the cake.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but Mayhem, did you have to go to work today?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, well, I'll handle the cake then.
Okay.
Well, perhaps one of us should go with you.
yes,
Both
I'm
of
going
you?
to. I'm going with you, Flair.
and I'll go. You know.
Yeah. You,
Yeah.
you remember to at least get his favorite flavor of cake as a consolation prize.
Is it going to really
Maybe
be
one
edible?
that's actually
These
edible.
cakes really eaten afterwards after people pop out of them? I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah,
It's
I don't
really.
know enough.
That's one of the questions of the ages, I think.
Huh.
Honestly, legitimately, I'm sitting here thinking about it, and I've never actually seen someone, even in movies, actually eat the cake someone has ever popped out of.
My point exactly.
Okay.
Generally speaking, those are not actual cakes. They're designed to look like a cake. And then you have a separate actual cake.
But it
Right,
needs
but we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it even better.
to be a real thing.
Hey, Vanguard, how secure is this place?
I mean, there's probably only maybe one or two places more secure outside of, like, I mean, my grandpa's kind of paranoid. Like, he kind of like.
Okay, I think
Yeah, like, I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. Like, you ever seen like one of those like the old dogs who always like picks their head up whenever they hear a noise?
yeah, okay. So I think I imagine we'll probably be made aware pretty quickly if somebody tries to come in. So I think I'm gonna go with you guys to see about this cake, because
I mean, I can
Curious who's
handle
gonna
this myself. I don't need
Mm-mm.
help.
No,
I
Flair. Flair, no.
honestly I have a feeling something's gonna happen, and I want to be I want to be
We're not actually like delivering it. We're just going to get everything ready. Of course, we're all going to be there when we bring the cake. Of course, I wouldn't shut you guys
Yeah.
out of that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
going to be way too awesome.
we'll lock the door and set the alarms and be good.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll be-
all right.
Well, yeah, our
And I'll leave a note for Alana. Hopefully she'll be able to read it.
Yeah.
That's
I'm-
actually a thing. Can Alana actually read read English?
Sure,
We'll
why
have
not?
to
She's
ask.
speaking English, so
Yeah, true.
yeah.
Yeah.
She has
Oh.
a magical translator of some kind, or a
Maybe.
broad education.
Mm.
and you never.
I mean, they've interacted with this planet before, so
True, yes.
I'm sorry you're stuck at work, stuck at work, Mayhem.
It'll be fine. I owe it to the guys because I kind of flaked on them yesterday.
Oh.
But yeah, no, it'll be fine. Have fun.
And
If you go visit Nona, definitely bring me leftovers.
we will. And when we we'll come get you when we go to take the cake, because I'm pretty sure your boss can't. If I say my granddad wants to meet you, I'm pretty sure he'll let you.
Well, good luck baking the cake. We'll talk about logistics after you get it done, because good luck.
Okay.
Jason, are you able to like turn up your volume a little bit, or maybe just make sure you're a little closer to the microphone? You're just a little quieter than everyone else.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So Mayhem is going off to work. Everyone else is going for
Headed
the
for-
cake. Was
Yeah.
that the idea?
Mhm.
that looks like how it is.
All
yeah.
right. Well, I think as we see a panel outside the headquarters with Mayhem going one direction, everyone else going the other. I think that we see in the background over, behind the headquarters, outside of view of any of you, it's clear that in the harbor there is a giant cruise ship in port, and we see that up near the bridge, the some of the windows flash purple, but none of our heroes see.
Yeah, because Kiri is new to the city, she obviously gawks at the vessel for a bit, but I imagine turns around about like
I,
3 seconds
I
before.
did just say none of you saw that.
No, like she turns around 3 seconds before the flash happens.
Okay. You can do that another time. I just described something where it was completely outside of the view. It is behind the building that you're all in front of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
never mind.
okay, but yeah, it needs to, yeah. So you could do that when you see a cruise ship a different time.
Yeah. Okay.
But let's follow Mayhem first. You perhaps are a little surprised when you realize that the site that you're told to report to this time is actually, in fact, the plaza in front of the old customs house where you fought the zoo crew, and there is work in place trying to repair the elaborate historic brick mosaic that was part of that whole big plaza. You are muted.
She's just saying bricks, 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 bricks.
Yeah.
Bricks.
I think as you are, heading towards where you see Austin Gallant, your boss, you hear him lamenting that the demand that they repair this plaza quickly means that they have to just use regular bricks, which is going to look okay. It'll be functional, but like the bricks that had been there were like historic. Like they had stuff engraved on them. They were in a mosaic pattern, and so even though you'll have like a functional brick plaza at the end of your site today, it's not going to be what it was.
No. No, and I even imagine that, well, I was thinking that maybe they were made out of like historical, older methods of brick making, rather than the industrialized extrusion process. But in a city like Halcyon, I don't expect bricks actually last all that long.
Well, the point is they certainly don't when a super battle happens on them.
Yeah.
But yeah, my illustration though here is not that there is never anything that lasts, but rather the characters lamenting that something that had lasted until last night has no longer lasted any further.
Right. Okay.
So that's so I think you are just given some directive to, I don't know, what you carrying pallets of bricks back and forth while everyone else is sort of placing them. What do you think?
I think the rush on the job means that she's assisting one of the more experienced bricklayers and helping them get the job done faster. So she is actually helping lay the bricks.
Well, the reason I ask about that is if a construction crew had someone who could carry a whole pallet of bricks with one hand, would they have them just placing bricks in mortar? Or would they have them doing something where the strength makes a difference?
Yeah, you're right.
It's
fine. It's fine.
I'm not trying to just correct everybody tonight. It's more a matter of let's try to make sure that we're honoring the fiction. Like what do you think they would have you do? I was offering one example.
Yeah, I think making up more. I think yes, carrying pallets of bricks. I think making up mortar in job lots and hauling that around
Mm-hmm.
because it's not like mortar's light.
Mm-hmm.
um, and just kind of generally being the person who gets stuff where it needs to go, um, a little more agilely than a um, what do you call them? The
Forklift?
really the smaller earth movers that might be used otherwise.
Okay. So do you think that that Mr. Gallant would have offered any sort of like do you ever get some of so are you always doing the strong jobs, or do you think that they do have you sometimes try to learn some of the more skilled work, or is there always just kind of an assumption that
I think that Mayhem has indicated that they want to learn more of the skilled jobs,
okay,
more than, hey, move that there.
sure. So I don't know. Maybe they do have you helping with some of the brick placement. Because to try to replace the mosaic, maybe there is some of that. Is that something you feel like?
I think that's something that Mayhem would love to do.
Okay.
To help fix some of what she broke.
Hmm. I think that there is I like the idea in concept, but I think that it is just in the fiction. There's always going to be some expectation of like, even if Mr. Gallant is supporting this idea of learning the more skilled work, I think everyone else on the crew, not everyone is going to necessarily.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think it's you can learn once the heavy stuff is where we need it to be, and we don't need you to lift stuff anymore.
How do you get along with the other members of the crew? I would imagine that at the very least there would be the potential for some resentment the way you come and go, or for that matter, the way sometimes you might be indirectly or directly responsible for the damage they're repairing.
Yeah, I think there is. I think I think she gets a little bit of leeway
Mm-hmm.
because she is unlike a lot of other heroes. She is actively involved in fixing the messes
Mm-hmm.
that she and her team make. So that gets her a little bit more leeway, whereas some of the other, do I want to say highbrow? Some of the other heroes aren't quite so inclined to see the collateral damage, and I
Mhm.
think that she does. And that gets her a little bit of leeway, even with the people who are like, ugh.
Well, so do
Goofy.
you get along with them on a personal level, though?
I I think there's a couple of people that I have to work with that don't like her.
Okay.
I think you'll have to give me time to come up with names, but I think there's probably a couple that it's they're skilled workers. Arthur can't. Um,
Austin?
Austin.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was trying to remember what his name was, and I know I'm the one who came up with it.
Mhm.
I think that there are a lot of skilled laborers who, um, they are, they are who they are, and maybe it's like the old crotchety guys. Yeah, there's a girl on the thing. She can lift a pallet jack. Okay. Uh, so they usually just call her Missy,
Okay.
not Mayhem. Uh, and she's got their respect in some cases, and some of them are harder to work with than others. But generally speaking, it's it is what it is.
Mhm. So I'm going to have you make an unleash your powers move, though.
Okay.
as part of doing this work, because you are using your powers somewhat, but you're also in some cases trying to do careful precision work, which is not necessarily what your powers are
Mm-hmm.
most suitable for. You're less experienced with, but so let's have you go ahead and roll that unleash your powers plus freak.
Oh, that's a miss.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Mark experience.
Yeah. So you do mark, potential, and so I think there is. Let's see. I think that there is. I think I'm just trying to think. So I think you know what I'm just going to say. Um, you are asked to. You're given the opportunity once you've carried a bunch of stuff to try to help with the more delicate sort of patterned bricklaying work. But I think that even though you're trying and there's an understanding that you're learning, um, it's eventually you're increasingly starting to feel like everyone's a little bit on edge because you're not doing it right, and eventually you realize they give you another job to do, and you see that someone else is having to take up the stuff that you just put down and redo it.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably a condition.
Yeah, I'm gonna say insecure.
Okay. So I think
That isn't something that she'd get mad about, but it is
Mhm.
something, she already feels bad about flaking yesterday. And well, no, actually no, she's giving somebody else more work. So no, instead of insecure, it's guilty.
Okay.
Aw.
So
Yeah.
I think the nobody seems like mad, but there you get with some folks a little bit more of a vibe of like, well, what did we expect? Like she's obviously good at carrying stuff. Why did we have her doing anything but that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But the shift progresses. I think that as the sort of the panel camera zooms out from that construction site, you can see that there's barriers that have been put up, to keep the public out of the damaged and under repair areas. And there's a lot of looky-loos that are just kind of watching the construction take place, or having to walk by on sidewalks that are much more crowded now, because normally people would have been otherwise going through this plaza. But here and there is a glimpse of some people in outlandish tourist gear, and a little bit of a zoom in on one or two reveal that some of those have this strange purple gleam in their eyes. And
Mm.
just before the panel cuts away, we see that one of them has snuck up behind a businessman who's on his cell phone, and looks like poised to grab him. But in the meantime, everybody else, I would guess that you have an address, and I'm thinking that this is closer to downtown. It's not like out of your sort of neighborhood, but it's in that direction. And this is the address that you were given, the contact for Le Chef, who is apparently someone who could help with making this sort of a novelty cake. And
Yes.
so, how are you? Are you all just walking?
I can bring us.
I can imagine us on a bus. Like, it,
But like, you guys really want to take like public transportation?
like that's Kiri's default idea. A bus, maybe?
It's not that far to walk, honest.
And you get
I
turned
mean,
into
we're not in a tremendous rush.
Okay.
It's nice to just cover once in a while.
Halcyon City is a beautiful city. It's historic.
Definitely.
But it
Definitely
does
much
have a
more.
good public transportation system, I think.
We could take we take it back. Let's
Okay.
get some exercise.
Oh, yeah.
Incidentally, we've not put any restrictions so far on Flair's radical shapeshifting power. I think that certainly carrying one person, not a problem remotely. I think if you were trying to carry like 3 or more, that's where we might start making it a roll.
All right.
Maybe. I think it would depend on the circumstances, not necessarily just down the street. But in any case, if you're all mostly just walking anyway, you pass, a lot of. Well, so is everyone in costume?
Flair is going to look to everybody else for how they want to go about it.
Carrie's reflex is not in costume.
Yeah,
But it has-
we're not fighting, so
Yeah, as a
and Tori's
backpack
is,
with her stuff in it.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it would be it'd be less conspicuous. It'd be less conspicuous if we were in normal.
Less conspicuous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So
we're just 4 people walking to a destination.
yeah.
Flair
they'll have-
Flair shapeshifts into an ordinary looking bald guy with a derby hat, a brown suit, and a bow tie.
80% of the way there.
I
That's
mean,
passing grade.
You would look, you would blend into a crowd about what 30 years ago.
Eccentric tourists from that took the cruise over the Atlantic. That's what
Yeah.
Claire's
During- Yeah.
that so
Yeah.
that's what I said, 80% of the way there.
I mean,
Okay.
But also remember just how many weird things happen in our city on a daily, weekly or daily
Yeah,
basis.
yeah.
There are much stranger people who already make the city their home.
So yeah.
I mean, yeah. Right.
might get a second glance here and there, but
yeah, no one. Yeah, they've seen weirder already today.
Mhm.
Yeah.
all right.
So I think that that you have a nice brisk walk. I think the weather is nice today. It's sunny. It's warm. You're passing lots of street level businesses as you've moved out of like the more like warehouse, more industrial sector of the neighborhood back into the commercial trendy area. You've got lots of high rises that have offices and condos and so on, but street level businesses, and you eventually make your way to the address in question, and you don't see any like storefront or sort of obvious like restaurant or bakery or anything of that nature. But as you check the little sort of front board, there is an intercom button that does just say Le Chef on it.
I go push the button.
We have a button for sure.
And there is a brief buzz back, and then a voice just says, "Oui."
Hi, we're the Harbor Kids. My name's Flair, and we want to make a really special cake. And we could use your help because we were told you could accomplish this grand feat of confectionery.
Le Chef only accepts jobs by appointment. Do you have an appointment?
No,
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're referred by Nona Olivia.
Nona Olivia.
Yes.
There's no response, but the door buzzes.
Let's
go in.
Before they change their mind.
So I think that you enter the door there, and although there are several elevators, like a bank of elevators, and a little there's a little directory that says like which floor various businesses are. But the one that says Le Chef says X. And you look around and you realize that one of the elevator doors has just a big X over the doors, which I think under normal circumstances would look like that's an out of order elevator. Looks like, it's like it's got like tape X'd out over the door of it.
Hmm.
Well,
Well, we need the cake.
Yep. Dodgy elevators for the
Button for
win.
it for that one.
Okay. I think that there is suddenly a like a grid of laser light, scans out from between those doors and like scans all of you.
mhm.
And I think it tickles a little bit. But then the doors open, but not the way it looks like they should open. Like they don't open side to side. It opens from the bottom,
Oh,
and
no.
you see that it is in fact a stairway going down.
Okay,
Ah,
That works.
sure.
And
So what were you saying about one of the more secure places?
Les Chef.
Vanguard?
Honestly,
Mhm.
yeah, this is secure by secrecy, and I am never going to tell anyone about this unless given permission.
I mean, it sounds like people, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's go.
Yep.
so go
I
ahead.
would say, then hey, at least you fit in better here. It's like a speakeasy.
Yeah, definitely.
I recognize that.
The stairs are I not sketchy, because sketchy implies like disrepair. Um, right? Like it, or like wear, or like dirt, right? This
Right.
feels more like uh when you discover that an evil CEO has some sort of like a secret dungeon that he can get to through his office, right? Like it is very clean and sterile, and sort of all like right angles, and very like austere in its sort of presentation.
You get the feeling that there is a trap under nearly every step.
Could be.
Potentially.
So as you descend, though, the elevator door does certainly close behind you, and you realize as you descend, and it goes about like 3 floors down in this relatively steep, narrow, dimly lit stairway. But you start hearing the the it's the name of the song. Hang on. Classic French song. It's the Edith Piaf sings it. Je ne regrette rien.
Oh, from Inception,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, also from other things, but yes,
Well,
that
yes,
one.
but that's what I remember.
Yes, it is from Inception for sure. And so I think that does anyone know the lyrics for that, or would
don't
any of
regret
you in
living?
character know the lyrics?
I'm sure Flair could pull it up if he needed to.
Basically, the lyrics are no, nothing at all. I regret nothing. Neither the good that was done to me nor the evil. I couldn't care less.
Uh,
So it's a beautiful French song. That's also what it's singing about. But I think as you emerge into this lower level, you see it almost could look like the kitchen for like Great British Baking Show type, reality TV show, except like there's no place for the audience. You don't see any cameras, but there are multiple sort of like cooking stations set up.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that there are uniformed chefs and with wearing masks over their faces that are all preparing various fancy desserts. It looks like at these various stations, and as you emerge into this room, all of them in simultaneously stop moving and look at you.
Are the masks like uh just identity concealing
They're like
or
ninja masks,
Oh,
hmm. I think
but they also have chef hats on.
yeah, I think Carrie would pull out of her pocket her own mask and put it on just because it feels weird to not be wearing one.
Mhm.
Think of
Uh, the chef?
yeah.
They all start cooking again, ignoring you. But you hear a little electric motor, and zooming in from the darkness on a little Segway is a woman in the same sort of getup. Like so, it's like basically fancy French chef uniform, but also ninja mask. But she has got a clipboard posted to the like little central handlebar part of her Segway that she's riding up, and she just zooms up and to each of you just looks around and says, "Come with me," and zooms off into the darkness.
Okay, we'll follow her.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The lights sort of come on, and as you enter a new little area, and then off again behind you. And you are led to a fancy little like office with a wooden desk. And there are, I think there's two nice leather chairs in front of the desk, like for guests.
Hmm.
And she just says, "The chef will be with you in a moment. Please wait."
thank you.
The Flair just sits down in midair, just hovering.
Yeah. I think I think Carrie is going to use a move. I would like to use the move straight up creeping.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. This seems like a perfect place to uh peek.
Sure, sure.
But
So when you scope out a person or a place, roll plus mundane.
full head.
Nice.
Okay. If
Okay.
yeah, there we go. Okay, so what that means is on a 10 plus, you can ask two of these questions. What's my best way in and out? What happened here recently? What here is worth grabbing? Who or what here is not what they seem? Whose place is this?
Uh let's see. Who or what here is not what they seem.
Okay.
And what is the best way out?
All right. I think that who or what here is not what they seem. I think your impression here is that although there is almost an element of, I mean, the cooking work, the baking and preparation that you saw out there was certainly, as far as you would be aware, food preparation at the highest levels.
Mhm.
But it is clear to you in the way that they were handling some of the knives and in the graceful ways that they move that you suspect that they are quite capable physically and in martial arts and perhaps more as well. And so you gather that all those cooks out there are probably not only cooks, or at the very least, cooking is not the only thing they are called upon to do. And I think that this whole place does seem, based on what you've seen of it, to be capable of producing food, but you have the impression that it does a lot more than that. So I think that you're just like, this is not just ultra fancy and maybe top secret for some reason bakery. It's also something else. And then what's my best way in and out? Short of the idea that you would just stay on everybody's good side and go back out the way that you came, which is an obvious way, I think you recognize that the cooking stations have a need for elaborate air circulation and the ability to keep air flowing and fresh air. And so you think that there must be an elaborate network of air circulation ducts that wouldn't be able to be completely blocked, because otherwise it would, interfere with the cooking part that you see does happen. So you think if you had to escape, that would probably be the way.
Wow. Yeah, I can imagine that. Kiri looks around and then, kind of looks at a vent. I wonder if I could fit in there.
Blair certainly could.
Well, of course.
What are you
time.
thinking?
Oh, just, if had to get out in a weird, in a quick manner, or at least get on their bad side manner. But I don't think I will ever be crossing this person. Ever.
Incidentally, I feel like I maybe didn't describe this office the way that I had meant to. I think that literally, as far as you can tell, imagine if you had an entirely dark airplane hangar, and in the center of it, under a single sort of floodlight, you had set out a big rug and a fancy desk and these chairs. And everything outside just the area from that one light is dark. And you just basically rolled up and the light came on and everything else is dark. But you're just sitting there feeling like there's no walls. Who knows what else is out there in the dark?
Okay, so
here's a reasonable question. Does Flair have any trouble seeing in the dark?
I think he, generally speaking, has like around the same senses as any other human being. His the body that he gives himself. But if he wanted to like shapeshift himself into something that can see in the dark, like see well in the dark, like a cat or an owl or something like that, he could if he wanted to.
So,
but he would need to, he would need to take a form that has those senses.
Okay.
So I think Kiri, instead of looking at events, looks around and says, why do I get the feeling that there are walls that we can't see?
Yeah, so to be clear, there were air vents, like how there's a fan above a cooking stove. There were those above the stoves in the other area.
Yeah.
I think Antares has a capability of elaborate senses, but only when you charge yourself up.
Only when I charge myself
elemental
up.
awareness.
Vanguard has super senses.
Oh yeah. So tell me what those super senses mean to you. Is that just like super sight, super hearing?
Yeah, that for me, that would be it. Just generally, like like heightened hearing, seeing.
Okay,
and
sure.
stuff.
Yeah, I think you definitely hear activity happening out there in the dark. I
Mm.
think you must have passed you passed through some corridors from that initial area where the cooking was happening. But eventually you hear footsteps approaching, and emerging out of the darkness is a tall, very thin man, except that he's got kind of like like Potbelly got, he's very skinny other than that. And
I know the type.
yeah, and he's got a very elaborate, like almost Salvador Dali esque mustache. Um, and he has the head chef toque, the name of that hat, but he's carrying it in his hands and not wearing it. And then he walks in, and his eyes look haunted.
Huh?
And he sits on the other side of the desk, and he places the hat there and says, "Have you come to kill me?"
No.
No,
No.
no. Why would, I mean, no.
Is someone trying to kill you?
I hope not.
Well,
We don't.
okay.
Yeah.
We
Well-
we wanted you to make us a cake.
Well, yeah. Or, we wanted to have a cake made with some unusual specifications, and Nona said that you would be the person to talk to.
He pulls a little notepad out of his breast pocket and says, "What sort of cake?"
Well, so here's
need-
the plan, right?
Oh.
And I'm going to fly down onto his desk and shapeshift into like the layers of a cake with no icing on it.
Just a plain cake.
Just a plain cake, no icing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of big, something like
Mhm.
2 feet high, 2 feet wide, pretty big.
Yeah, I think his face, gives no change at all, except like one side of his mustache just twitches a little bit.
And then back to myself. So it's like, okay, so we want to give someone a really big surprise, right?
Mhm.
And we're going to use the old person popping out of a cake thing, only I'm going to be it. Okay. And so we need the outside part of that I can be cake inside of, so that we can get past security without asking any questions, because we don't want to ruin the surprise.
He's taking notes this whole time, and he just says, "And who is the cake for?"
His granddad.
The Gunpowder Guardian.
And he sets the notepad down for a second, and he takes out of a drawer and like an old-fashioned Rolodex, and he's like flipping through it. And he pulls out a card. He puts it back in, puts it in the drawer, and takes more notes.
Yeah,
So-
it's like,
so-
what was that?
So we've got, and here's the thing, we've got an appointment to see him, what, day after tomorrow? Something
No.
like that?
I mean,
Tomorrow.
what he
No,
said
it's
was
today.
when you have a moment is what he actually said.
Yeah.
So soon let's put it this way, we've got an in, right? And so the idea is you wheel this in to
Got it.
say, hey, this is a big day for the Vanguard guys, and ta-da! And I'll pop up.
Yeah, because we want to try to get we have to pass some sensitive information off, and he might be upset. So we're trying to lessen that blow, if it makes any sense.
I mean, yeah.
Are you
So-
also smuggling any weapons into?
No, none of that. None of that. I mean, aside from us, I mean, and Flair transforms into a 1941 style Tommy gun and back again.
He takes more notes. You need this by.
Well, soon.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah,
What would be
so-
your method of transporting the cake?
Hadn't thought of that.
mean, You
Would
can
you wish
fly.
to get inside at our location and have us deliver the cake?
No. We can handle delivering. In fact, it's best if we bring it in.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I imagine Mayhem could carry it.
I mean, Mayhem can carry just about anything.
Yeah, I mean,
But you
I-
normally a cake goes on like a wheeled party thing.
Trolley.
Oh well,
Yes.
you know what?
Uh,
You could turn into a truck and drive it over.
We'll handle delivery. We'll pick it up.
I think also the problem with that last one is that if Flair is in the cake, they can't
Yeah.
also be a
Well,
truck
well,
driver.
okay.
yeah.
No.
But I think that the chef says a cake of the type that you describe is delicate. It would be difficult, certainly, for an ordinary individual to carry, but they are also sensitive to sudden movements. If you wish the presentation to be maintained, you will have to move the cake with great care.
Okay. Speaking as a player,
Mm-hmm.
Flair is way too much of a cinnamon roll to have any suspicions about all this. But as a player, I do, and I wish one of my fellow players
Actually,
would do an assess the situation
of-
move.
actually, I kind of feel like a Pearson mask might be
Sure.
sure.
Yeah. Well, if who is someone making that, wanting to make that move?
I'll roll it.
Sure. All right. When you pierce someone's mask to see the person beneath, roll plus mundane.
Okay, no influence. Oh wow,
Wow.
your full hit.
All right, another full hit. So on a 10 plus, you can ask 3 of these questions. What are you really planning? What do you want me to do? What do you intend to do? How could I get your character to blank? How could I gain influence over you?
Okay, so what are you really planning? What do you intend to do? And how can I gain influence over you?
Okay. I think, gosh, let me I'm just thinking about how to present it, right? You know, as opposed to just
Yeah.
sort of answering it point blank, right? Um, I think that I'm going to try to present it with the fiction a little bit more by just as you're kind of assessing all of this, but then after taking all of these notes, they pull out a bigger scratch pad and begin. And then they pull out. They reach into a drawer, and there's a moment where it feels like they're reaching for something. What could it be? Oh, it's a bunch of just like photos of different like types of frosting designs and different cake designs, and they present like this sketch. It's almost like a blueprint of an elaborate cake, and then the photos are like different options for for patterns of decoration and everything. And he says, we offer 3 lines of customized frosting text. But there is one thing that I must ask of you before I begin work on this cake that you have described for me.
What is that?
When I have done this thing for you, Nona, Olivia, and I are done.
Ooh.
I haven't even met Nona Olivia yet.
Well, did
And I think the vibe that you get, Curie, in that is that some of what you have been taking, like he's clearly taking this all very seriously. I think you get the impression he is planning to do exactly what you ask and no more, but he is doing it because he appears to think that he owes Nona Olivia something and that he doesn't want to owe her anything and that he wants this cake, when delivered, to be the last of it.
I don't know if I want to like use up somebody else's favor on without talking to them about it.
yeah,
This-
I think we're not seeing fully eye to eye on this because we have no idea
Uh,
you're talking about.
Monsieur Chef, I
Yeah,
will do my best to do what you request, and uh, we'll hope to explain the
she'll call you.
necessity of it, of the necessity of why we were not successful, if that were be the case.
Do not have her call me.
I will deliver the message myself on both sides.
So I will deliver this cake. When would you like to pick it up?
How long will it take you to make it?
When do you want it?
Well, you did say tomorrow, so
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow, soon as tomorrow, late afternoon, say
1
3
p.m.
o'clock.
Well, what kind of hours does your grandfather do?
I don't
Vanguard.
think he sleeps, so I think he'll be fine. If it gives you guys a good, imagine if like,
He doesn't let anybody know when he sleeps
imagine
because you're
old man-
vulnerable.
Exactly. Imagine if Clint Eastwood and Batman and Bruce Wayne had a grumpy old baby.
Oh my
Just born grumpy and old.
So I
I've
want you
actually
all.
known babies like that.
So based on all of these photos in this little book that he has of like what the cake can be made to look like, I want all of you to tell me what this cake is going to look like.
Okay.
Ooh,
I think okay, first of all, what are the Mystic Marksman's colors? Right?
Yep. Its frosting should be in those colors.
okay, so then yeah, we could do that. We could say they're like we could make them like a silverish color because I know his suit is mainly silver. So it could be
Okay.
like you could do like a silverish, like a metallic-y kind of.
Yeah, that can be glitter.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
what about like the because that's like the mysticism.
Yeah, and then
What would be like the frosting color? You wouldn't want it to be white and silver.
Red, silver and red's a good combo. And I mean, like traditionally, like a bullseye is like
Red and white.
alternating colors,
Yeah.
red and white, but
Yeah.
red and silver.
Yeah. A big like bullseye on the top with red and yellow, red and white circular stripes, right? And
Instead of fondant roses, there are fondant arrows.
Yeah.
Like sticky, like they're like arrow
like,
appliques
yeah.
around the outside.
See, I was imagining it looks like arrows have been shot through
Yeah.
it
Through the
and are
cake.
sticking
Yeah,
out.
that's
Yeah.
great. That
yeah. Yep. That I think keep it simple. That's the concept.
And I could see like each arrow is like there's a little bullseye that it's in, and each arrow is exactly in the bullseye.
Mhm. So do you have the frosting say anything?
Um,
I don't. I think no words would actually be.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
Because
think
I-
it needs words. I don't think it needs words.
Yeah, because
The medium
I'm
is the
sorry, don't
message.
shoot me.
That would kind of give away the surprise. I
Yeah,
think.
that
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think that after you have, he has made up a little form that just indicates all of these
Choices, yeah.
options, and he, after you've selected everything, he pours out some wax from a candle, and he puts a seal on it that has the chef hat and then like a spatula and a ladle crossed behind it. Um,
Um,
and then he says, "The deal is struck." And from his pocket, he pulls out just a handful of flour and tosses it above the candle flame, which causes it to whoosh. And then, as you sort of recoil from the brief fireball, when it clears, he's gone. And the desk is gone. And now you're just standing within a little square of velvet ropes, and you see emerging out of the darkness is the kitchen ninja with the Segway again. She says, "Follow me."
I love it. Cooking pirate ninjas.
we really need to ask Nona, like, what is up? Like,
Oh,
You know-
I plan on it. I plan. I
You know,
plan
honestly-
on.
Good luck on
Getting
getting
her
a
to
straight
talk.
answer.
I plan on seeing if I can get her to talk.
yeah, and also I'm gonna ask my grandpa, like, what's going on with this city? Like underground baking ninjas?
Honestly, and like I imagine we're talking about this.
As
I
we're
mean,
walking
yeah.
down.
He's not
Yeah, I
just-
think
Honestly,
he's
I'm
not
not
just a
surprised.
chef, guys. He's a retired
Superhero.
super guy. Is
But
he
is
villain or
he-
superhero? I've forgotten what his
I know.
which side he
Do
was
you
on.
know?
Yeah.
But he's not just an ordinary, not just an ordinary guy.
Sure. I'm not-
Nobody has a small army of trained ninja chefs as in a underground bunker without there being some reason for it.
Yeah. I think as you pass back into where all of those cooking stations were, you see that first of all, I think now that your eyes are a little more adjusted to the dark, you see that there's way more of those stations than you realized, like extending further out. But all of the cooks are once again have stopped what they're doing, and they're all holding their chef's hats at their heart and watching you go.
I think Kiri is just gonna just like give a salute to them as she passes, because that seems right.
Vanguard is kind of looking as he's like may your dough rise and your
Your
May
cake
your
top
souffle
fall.
never fall.
right.
The nearest cook gives you one of these slow nods. Yeah. But yeah, so you are shown back to those stairs. You go back up. You leave through that fancy door again, and as it closes behind you, you see there's a guy standing there waiting for one of the other elevators, and he's going, "Huh, I thought that one was broken."
Don't ask.
Yeah,
Just
it is.
Don't ask.
It is.
It
Trust
is.
me, it's broken.
Okay. But I think as you emerge back onto the street, you are treated to screams.
Oh boy.
There are people running down the street in fear, and as you look, in the direction that they came from, you see what look like beach resort tourists, but a whole mob of them, hundreds, moving through the streets. And you can see that as you watch, one of them grabs some person who's just come out of a store and bites their arm. And then you watch over the next few seconds as that person's business suit suddenly turns into like a tank top and a bathing suit and sandals, and
Oh my God.
sunglasses emerge from their face.
Oh,
And then
my
they start
God.
going.
Oh,
And in the distance, you hear boom, boom, as the big cruise ship sounds its horn. Mayhem.
Yes.
You got to witness this same phenomenon, but it became. It was at first, you're just working, right? Everyone's working, and then there's this crowd. But then you kind of had noticed that there was a little bit of a disturbance. Like seems like there's some sort of scuffle happening over in the crowd. But shortly thereafter, you also notice, hey, wait, a lot more of the crowd than before seems to be these people who look like they're on vacation and not just normal pedestrians.
Right.
But then you watch as a couple of these people, you get to see one of these same sorts of transformations where a woman who is not wearing a hat suddenly is having an enormous sun hat growing out of her head. And and like she was wearing just like a power suit, but now it's turned into like a bikini top with a sarong around the hips. And it looks like somehow there is a contagious plague of tourist zombies.
oh my gosh.
On the one hand, as someone who likes to go on cruises, I have been one of those zombie hordes. On the other hand, having been among the zombie hordes, ow.
All right. Yeah. So what do you do?
How threatening do they look? I mean, are they trying to encroach on the site, or?
Well, so here's the thing: is that none of them are moving very fast, and you get the impression that because they're, ordinarily you wouldn't necessarily even give a second look to someone who's in like tourist sorts of clothes, right? Even if they're acting a little strange,
Yeah.
because you figure tourist,
Yeah.
right? But this transformation, once you've seen one happen, happens pretty fast. And the person doesn't even like yell or anything generally if they were caught by surprise. And so you get the impression that some of this transformation happened just with nobody realizing, because they were just like coming in and it was happening so fast that people didn't notice. But then once a few more people have noticed something happening and it starts to like scuffle away, it's accelerating the more of them there are. But people are mostly able to sort of like, once they're like aware of a threat, they're able to get away. And these things don't move fast. These are slow tourist zombies.
Okay.
But they are spreading out from where they are. They are not respecting the little construction tape. So mostly they have been going after the other people who are also on the sidewalks, but you have noticed that there are a couple who have started to stagger towards where you and your coworkers are, kind of just dragging the little construction pylons and the yellow tape around their waist. Just.
Oh, that's an ocean violation.
Austin. Evacuation plan C, I think.
Um, and he kind of says, he looks over to see where you're looking. Is like, yeah, and he pulls out a whistle and blows just like a complex pattern. And I think that literally this is like an established protocol. In a city where super battles can happen, and so I think everyone is kind of like, huh, what? And as it's clear that these things seem mostly to be coming from the other direction, they definitely run off and are starting to like evacuate the site, going the other way.
Right. Okay, good. All right, so that's my coworkers responsibly taken care of. Look,
Yeah.
I'm a responsible, almost adult type person.
But I think Austin is looking to you and just says, "Is anything else I can do? Do you know what this is?"
No clue, but is that about the time when the cruise horn sounds?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I bet that has something to do with it. You get to safety, I'm going to try to find a way over these guys and get to the harbor.
All right. So yes, they evacuate, and so like, what's your next step here? You see that there's a whole bunch of these things between you and where you heard that sound, the horn. I think you know that you're maybe a few blocks away, but you can't see the ship from here.
Right. Which means that it's a medium-sized cruise ship. Because the
No.
really, really big ones are really, really big. The no,
well,
but the
okay.
that's a smart-ass remark from the player. Never mind.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that it is a really big one. I know how big they are. They are literally
Yeah.
sideways skyscrapers. They're that big. If you have not
Yes.
seen one up close, they're really something.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The so I think what Mayhem is going to do is try and take to the roofs.
Okay.
She's going to try and roof jump her way closer to the harbor.
All right. Sure. Do you just like leap tall buildings with a single bound style?
Yeah, she's gonna try.
Yeah. Okay.
'Cause I look really shitty in a sombrero.
Yeah. I think that you are not in immediate danger enough that we're going to need you to make a move. I think the buildings that you're around right here are not the the 40-story skyscrapers. There's like 4 or 5 stories maybe. Most of the buildings around here, but you could. So I'm not going to make you roll to hop up to there, but I think you do see from the top of that building that there is an enormous cruise ship in port. I think you had maybe been peripherally aware, but it's a common enough thing.
Right.
But it's not as common for the lights of the bridge to glow with bright purple, eerie light. But
Okay.
you also see that there are perhaps thousands
Oh my
of
God.
these things
Yes.
spreading out from the gangplanks of this cruise ship.
Oh yay! Banana phone time.
All right.
Let's see. I'm gonna call my good rival Vanguard and make his day bad.
So who is your love and who is your rival at this point?
Right now my love is Flare and my rival is Vanguard.
Okay. That was also for our listeners who might not have caught
Yeah.
last episode.
Yeah, so pick up the phone. Hey Vanguard, cruise ship in town with tourist zombies. Thought you ought to know.
Vanguard's going as they, the call comes in as they step out of the place and hear the screams. Yeah, we are seeing that. Are you on the way?
Well, I'm on the way towards the cruise ship. I'm taking the ruse because zombies on the ground.
Bruh.
uh, I- and I don't really like my chances of not getting bit if I try to hit one of those things. I mean, they're slow, but dude.
We
Um,
There's a lot of them.
yeah, and there are more the closer you get to the harbor.
Right.
And they're still disgorging. So I'd take the high road if at all possible.
Thanks for the update. We'll meet you. Matter of fact, post up on a building nearby, and we'll try to meet you there.
Okay.
You're nearby the cruise ship, that is.
Okay. See you then.
Yep.
Click.
I'll relay that information to the guys and be like, so,
we really need to get a team vehicle.
yeah.
I need to learn to fly.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hey, Flair, give us a lift up to the roofs,
I don't think Flair can take all of us.
or at least
We
yeah,
could
anchor
yeah.
a line.
Yeah.
I think what I'll basically say is if you're not in danger at the moment, like
Yeah.
if you're not in immediate danger, then sure, yeah,
Yeah,
Flair
okay.
could do it.
Okay.
so
Under threat might be a different situation.
right. So yeah, Flair shapeshifts into a helicopter and and flies everyone over to where to the rendezvous point, where we can have our entering combat as a team move.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Now,
So,
who's the leader on this one?
well, that's
Well,
I guess.
Mayhem, it could be Mayhem, since Mayhem actually got to the
I
city.
think yeah.
I think Mayhem's
Yeah.
leader this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, God help us all.
I think we're all going to get a turn at the docket sooner
Yeah,
or later.
Yeah, we're a you know
You're a
anarchist
dynamic team.
proto syndicalist commune.
And we
We don't believe
take
in
it turn
swords.
by turn. Sort of executive officer for the month.
I love it when an obscure cultural reference comes together.
All right.
Nice.
Why is this one not on my I have these quick references that have most of the moves, but not that one, which is annoying. Because why would it not have all of them? But that's okay. Give me just a moment, and I'll be able to read the specific move reference. Because we will start by adding 2, but then, gosh, where is this? Sorry, one moment. This PDF, this is a great game, and I love it. And sometimes I find it difficult to get it to tell me exactly what I'm looking for. All right, okay, one of these direct. Why can I not? Okay, when you enter battle against a dangerous foe as a team, okay. This is Adobe's fault. This is absolutely Adobe's fault, not the PDF, because I searched that and it said, oh, I don't know, couldn't find it. Anyway, when you enter battle against a dangerous foe as a team, add 2 to the team pool. If the leader has influence over every teammate, add another team.
I have influence over Fair, Vanguard, Curie, and Antares.
That is everybody currently present, except yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'd like to have influence over myself.
If you don't, you're in trouble.
Does everybody have same purpose in the fight?
Whatever
Yes.
is making that glow and hopefully defeat the zombies.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
If any team member mistrusts the leader of the team.
No.
I trust Mayhem to make this awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah, I trust.
I trust her to break things.
Yeah.
And
I wouldn't. You know what? I'm kind of. Is your team ill prepared or off balance? I would say not especially.
Yeah.
So, So I would say that is going to be pretty good. That's going to be 4 on top of the one that was there already. So you're starting with 5.
Ooh,
Hey.
yay.
All right. So Mayhem, I think you, unless you are waiting for everyone else to arrive to your location specifically, what are you doing? Describe your entering battle. Or you can wait for everyone if that's what you're doing.
I think I am going to wait for everyone
Okay.
because getting to the bridge, getting to the bridge of that ship
Hmm.
is going to be a thing. Um. Yeah, so I think I'm going to wait for everybody.
Okay. So once everybody has arrived on this particular roof overlooking the horde of zombie tourists and the cruise ship beyond, everyone describe your pose in the splash panel.
Uh,
Hmm.
Hands on hips, looking at the cruise ship questioningly and considerately, like this.
I think Kiri's just kind of crouched and uh like expecting something to fly out at her, but uh kind of dazzled by the size of the ship.
Hmm.
I think Mayhem is crouched at the very edge of the roof and is kind of alternating between looking at the bridge and looking at the boat and then looking at
board in the streets.
the sunburned hordes below us.
Hmm.
Um, Blair is has got like um uh um one of the others who are not looking quite so heroic attention from the side and has shapeshifted himself because his clothes are all like part of the shapeshifting power. So he's got he's now wearing a T-shirt that said, "I fought a bunch of zombies and all I got was this stupid T-shirt," and Bermuda shorts, sandals, and socks, and is saying, "Okay, so how about infiltration?"
Vanguard sees this and is just like, I really hope no reporter gets a picture of this. Because I just can see it now, the splash
Yeah.
page. You're just going left to right. Each character doing their thing, doing their thing, doing their thing. Vanguard, face palm. And
Yeah.
then next to Vanguard is Flair in this hat talking about, all right, guys, let's infiltrate.
Yeah,
Uh,
I would go for it, except for the fact that everybody is going the opposite direction.
so I've placed a link in the Zoom chat, and this is for the benefit of listeners at home. If you want to look up, there are many images of a cruise ship known as the Icon of the Seas, which is the world's largest cruise ship. Because there's lots of pictures you can find on the internet. I want everyone to imagine that's the ship we're talking about here.
365 meters long, displacing
Yes.
250,000 tons.
Measuring
oh my.
5 times the size of the Titanic.
Mhm.
Oh my
And
God.
here's the thing is that I think actually as you're looking at it, you realize the ship is in fact bigger than it was before. It has been growing.
Well,
Because
that-
I think you would have like there's just a recognition of like you've seen cruise ships come through before, but if it had been this big before, you would have noticed.
Yeah,
think
that's
we need to get going.
I think it
Yeah.
is to that cruise ship.
Mhm.
Airdrop? Look at Flare.
But we've got to try to stop these from spreading.
think-
We could maybe
I think if
keep
we
them-
stop the source, because
yeah,
I-
I
mean,
Yeah, I don't
That
think we
looks-
can handle thousands of zombies.
that looks like the hybrid magic we fought
Right.
yesterday.
I mean, these days, purple evil equals evil.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Don't you read comic books?
Glad I didn't choose that for my costume.
Speaking of which, none of us are in costume except
Oh,
Blair.
in the process of in the time it took to get there, Kiri got her coat out and is
Yeah.
wearing it.
Had it in a backpack.
Yep.
Uh-huh. Always prepared.
Hmm.
Okay, so how do you guys feel about grapple lines?
I'll remind
do we
everyone that there is such a move as assess the situation as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
I'll give that a go.
Yeah, somebody else, but that's not me.
Yeah.
All
That's
right.
plus superior.
Who would like to assess the situation?
I
Normally,
would.
it's
Okay.
actually Flair's job. He kind of like flies around.
you
and
wanna
has a
do it?
look.
Okay.
That's kind of like
Yeah.
a standard thing.
Certainly,
Um,
you have team available if help is required. But
Yeah. So I'm gonna roll it. And I should point out that I am still have the guilty condition, so I've got a -2 on that.
Mhm.
But I rolled an 8, so
Okay.
that's
So an 8. If two people wanted to each spend a team, could make
that
it a
seems
10.
like a lot to spend right off the bat.
I mean, you guys let me know. If with an 8, you're going to ask one of the questions, which is what here can I use to blank? What here is the biggest threat? What here is in the greatest danger? Who here is most vulnerable to me? How could we best end this quickly?
What here can I use to get onto the ship quickly?
I
Oh.
think that there is a construction crane nearby that right now is not like the arm is not extended in that
Right, right,
direction.
right.
But if you could take control of it, you could move it so that the long arm of it is
Right.
reaching out, and I don't think it goes quite directly over the cruise ship, but it extends quite a distance over
Right.
the
Okay.
mats below.
I got this handled. I'm gonna fly down to the thing and use my alien tech move to alter it to do something special.
Okay.
I suppose we're all booking it to the crane.
Yeah.
By the time you get there, I'll have everything all set up.
Okay.
We
So
hope.
yes, when you
That also is a hit.
alter a human device, sure enough.
Yep.
You roll plus freak on a hit. You create a device that can do something impossible once and then fizzle. And so you don't get the extra things, but it's
Right, yeah.
it'll do
So
that.
yeah, instead of just like extending in its general direction,
Mhm.
it like warps into like a ramp that everybody can just charge up.
Okay.
And because it fizzles, then they can't use it to get off.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, so what I think is that it's easy enough to get on, and the end of it is almost but not quite directly over the ship, but also it's kind of way up in the air.
Yeah.
And I think
Not a
like
problem for me.
the hook is hanging down from there,
Yeah.
so you can all do with that as you like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because you got that answer with a, you know what? You should have had a +1 on that alien tech thing anyway because of you got that from the assess the situation.
Right.
So that would have made it a
9.
9 if you wanted. If someone would someone have been able to help with that at all?
I think Kiri would have had the idea to basically get to the end and drop down onto the hook and swing it onto the ship. So there's a direct line.
Oh yeah, so use the motion of the crane to hook the hook from the cable
Yeah.
onto the ship.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think with that idea, if you want
Yeah.
to spend one of the team,
I will spend it.
the plus
Yeah,
one
that's
you
good.
would have had plus that help could make that a 10, and
Okay.
it works exceptionally well. I like that idea. So
Yeah.
I think
So, so it's just like as they're going up, it's like an escalator, you know.
well, it's an escalator, and then the idea of trying to slide down the cable like a zip line, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah.
So I think that for the laws of narrative causality say that this hook gets you to the very back of that top deck of the ship, and with the bridge in the far forward. So you're going to have to make your way across the top, that top deck with
Okay.
various there's various like club areas, and then there's
Mhm.
an area with a swimming pool and a lot of water slides, and then there's sort of like a building area that you don't know what's exactly in there, but
Right.
you see that certainly you've managed to avoid the huge crowd of the zombies below, but there are certainly some on the deck here as well, looking at you with purple glowing eyes. And I think that you all hear kind of, at first it seems like it's coming from everywhere, but then you realize, oh, no, it's actually just coming from the speakers that are on the deck in various places. A voice just saying, "Oh, look, we have guests who are not yet in their proper attire. Please, if you will allow a ship employee to guide you to the changing rooms, we'll make you more comfortable."
No.
I'm good.
Yeah, so
Absolutely
Flair goes
not.
back to his tourist getup.
Yeah.
Like, I'm all set.
I think that you've got several of these zombies kind of heading your way. Some of them do seem to have like the cruise ship uniforms on, but are acting more or less the same as the others. But they're all sort of coming towards all of you. I'm going to go ahead and say if Flair has made themselves look like a tourist, they do seem to be ignoring Flair.
See, I told you.
Infiltration. And again, Vanguard face palm.
Oh,
So
I don't look good in it.
it's like, okay, I'm going to try to find. We're going to fly off without talking to anybody and try to find a gift shop
Okay.
because I want to grab clothes for my friends that will make them fit in.
Haha. All right. Well,
And I would like to clear the insecure
Okay.
move for taking foolhardy action without talking to the team.
Sure. Yeah.
It's just
So
I got an idea. He just flies
yeah,
off.
I'm not going to make you make a move to look for one, but it is going to take you a little bit.
Right.
Especially
So,
because you don't necessarily know the layout of the ship.
Oh,
even
yeah.
even if
Yeah.
you found one, you would still have to get stuff out of it.
absolutely.
so-
yeah.
So, but yes, I will allow. So, what I will remind you though is that will let you clear the condition at the end of the scene.
At the end of the scene. Okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
do you still want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay,
I still. I mean, this in order for an action to be foolhardy, it has to kind of be under threat.
Well,
so-
see, I absolutely want to support this action because I will want to know, and I think that we're close enough to the end that we're not going to play out this whole encounter
right.
tonight, but I want everyone's homework will be to tell me what their tourist outfit will be.
I'll have those pictures on your inbox by tomorrow.
But yes, so I think all of you were there going, facing off against this the horde of these zombies approaching, and then Flair just goes back in a second, flies away.
In his tourist getup.
In his tourist
Uh,
guide,
Yeah.
flying.
I mean, flying people can't be tourists.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So who else is going to do something, or else you just going to let these things approach to you and bite you? And
I think
Is there
transform you?
a is there a table like like those those folding tables that people use for gatherings and things? Would there be one nearby?
I think that most of the tables here are actually bolted to the deck because they need to be able to stay in place. However, I think there are chairs. There's folding like lounge chairs.
Well, and you guys see Vanguard crack his knuckles and he's like, well, I don't want them getting close to us. So I will like to unleash my power, because he is super strong, and
Okay.
try to pull one of these tables up to use it as a way to block them from getting to us.
Okay, so if this is a defensive move, right, to create
Yeah.
like a defensive perimeter, would you rather use defend?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. So I think the idea there is that unleash your powers is more like overcome an obstacle, reshape your environment. That could apply here, but since what you're doing is explicitly to defend your teammates.
Yeah.
So when you defend someone or something from an immediate threat, roll plus savior.
I can imagine trying to
Yeah.
go.
All right. So that's a 9. So on a 7 to 9, yeah, you will keep them safe, but it will cost you. And unless anyone
Mayhem
okay.
will help him build the perimeter and add her super strength to his.
Okay. I should have reduced the team by 1 earlier, so I'm reducing it again now. So it's from 5 to 3.
Yep.
But yeah, that will make it a 10. And so, yeah, I think between Mayhem and Vanguard, you're able to create sort of a blockade from all of these like folded lounge chairs and other, or I guess in the tables as well.
I'm yeah, and I'm imagining like one of the others with one of those big huge table umbrellas.
Yeah,
and-
as
Fury with
a
Fury with-
lance with a shield on the end, poking through, going. Blink.
So
Boink,
I think
boink.
because I have an image I'm very happy with, I'm going to suggest that our cliffhanger final panel for this issue is we've got the classic barricade against a horde of zombies, right? But it's all made out of like beach chairs and umbrellas and tables and just like brightly colored sort of like plastic and everything. And you've got the wave of zombies pressed up against it, arms reaching through, and one of those zombie arms is holding a fancy cocktail with a little umbrella in it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I support
flowing.
this vision.
And as you look up into the final page of this, you see Flair in the distance in his hat flying away.
All right, so I think that we will leave our immediate story there, but we still have the end of session moves. So at the end of every session, you choose to grow closer to the team, grow into your own image of yourself, or grow away from the team. And so you need to either explain who made you feel welcome, explain how you see yourself, or explain why you feel detached.
I'm gonna say grow into the image of myself.
Mhm.
Okay, I need to reopen my character sheet here.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm going to I'm gonna shift superior down and mundane up because we've been talking an awful lot about humanity and what things are like and things like that.
Well,
So,
and your whole strategy here is based on seeming like you're
Right.
normal.
right.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I think
be normal. Just be normal. Be normal. Just be normal.
I think Kiri is growing into herself, because like, she 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 read the situation with the chef and took action. She made a
Yep.
promise and she intends to keep it. And she is going to uh, shift Freak up and Danger down.
Okay.
Oh.
'Cause, yeah, she's gonna be pushing her limits
Sure.
soon.
Yeah. All right. Mayhem and Tarius Vanguard.
I feel a little closer to the team. We had a really interesting conversation with Flair, and then we had this very weird outing with at the at Les Chef. So yeah, I'm going to so I'm no longer quite so angry as I was. I'm calm. That was an interesting thing. I'm not so angry about things. So that was actually chill until things get down. So I think Flair already has influence over me.
Okay.
If not, Flair has it now.
Yeah, that's fine. But you can clear condition or mark potential.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Um,
clear angry. I'm
great.
a little more chill now, just in time to charge up.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, I think in contrast, Mayhem feels a little bit more distanced from the group.
Oh yeah, you
Mm.
kind of went off on your own, did your own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What does the distance do?
Basically what so mechanically in this case you can choose one of the other characters who has influence over you currently and take that away from them, but you can decide that you don't
Well,
want to do that.
Or you could choose an adult.
um I think the intent is that you, well, here, let me see
Yeah,
if I can.
Flair has permanent influence over her.
Mhm.
So
Right
I
now.
think what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete Flair's permanent influence. I mean, she's still, she's still got the love influence, but I'm going
Okay.
to delete her permanent influence,
Okay.
so that she's not double dipping.
Okay.
But yeah,
Um,
she's
Yeah, it does. It does. I'm reading up the description. It is not that you can just pick to remove it from any character. It has to be related to the fictional.
Oh, it has to be
source.
one of us. Okay.
Ah,
Well,
I
it's
think
like
normally the idea here is that this would happen if, like, you all had a fight or something, like an argument. But that that it still can fit, right?
well, I can imagine that if there was a hero majorly involved in the session, then it would make sense to remove influence
Mhm.
or something like that.
Well,
Remove
no,
that
I mean it is explicitly one of
or
the
a
team.
teammate. Okay.
Well, it's drifted away from your teammates and friends. Maybe you had a fight with them or actively disagreed with them. Maybe you just diverged and went different ways. You indicate that you no longer care about the words or opinions of a teammate in the same way.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
oh,
okay. That
sorry.
works.
Mhm.
So it's-
All right. So Vanguard.
the Vanguard will grow closer to the team because the conversations we had with Flair, plus just going through the whole weird ninja bakery thing, and it also kind of showed Vanguard that like as a team they kind of can do some cool stuff and like experience stuff together, and it's okay, like because like there's more to the city than anything, so
Mhm.
like it's easier to do it with a team. And so you just like, this feels better than the marksman sometimes, less
Well,
pressure
you're kind of
around
all
him.
equals here, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I think that's where we'll leave it for this time. But we will return next week for more superhero action when the Harbor Kids meet the cruise director
Dun, dun.
on so many levels.
So many
Yeah.
levels.
The cornier the names, the better.